Greetings and welcome to another edition of Momentum Motivation Mondays with the Kingmaker. I am so excited to be with you live on Facebook and on YouTube, and even those of you who are watching this in the replay on Instagram and on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching it through. Thank you for supporting us, for tuning in, for sharing. We've gotten an amazing response, and I want to stop and simply say thank you. Each of you have been able to allow us to reach people beyond our wildest imaginations. You've contacted and tagged CEOs, you've tagged entrepreneurs, you've tagged visionaries, you've tagged dreamers, you've tagged pastors and ministry leaders, and because of you, we've been successful in now our 6th episode. Can you believe it? It's our 6th episode. So let me start by just saying thank you. Let me see some hearts, some thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Celebrate with me for the success we've had on Momentum Motivation Mondays. As always, I want you to come in. As you're coming in, if this is your first time viewing, let me know where you're viewing from. Tell me hello. We're going to respond back to you. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are. Thank you, and thank you again. For those of you who are joining for the first time, this is Momentum Motivation Mondays with the Kingmaker. I am the Kingmaker, Kervance Ross, and it's my job, my purpose, and my duty in life to touch at least 1 billion people before I die and help them obtain their optimum level of purpose, greatness, and success. We do this in 3 areas. The marketplace. The marketplace is where all of us are or should be, whether you're a corporate exec, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an employee, whether you're a visionary, a creative, a pastor, a nonprofit or organizational leader, you're in the marketplace. Secondly, ministry. The word simply means meeting the needs of people. Some of us do it in a formal dynamic. Some of us do it informally, but all of us are meeting the needs of people. And finally, the mainstream. It's who you are behind the scenes. You as a woman, you as a man, your relationships, your purpose, your emotions, your challenges, your ups and downs. And Momentum Motivation Monday tags and attacks the first one, the marketplace. We give you insight, tips, information, and direction for everything you're doing in the marketplace. So thank you again. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the share button. You're not going to want to miss this. I see all of you coming in. Hello, greetings. Hello. Now that we've gotten that started and we're on our way with our session for today, thank you for allowing me to be your lunchtime partner. As you always know, credibility is everything. And we do this credibility because you don't want to have somebody just giving you information that is not an expert or is not credible in their field. And as the president of KDR Consulting, a holistic marketing and strategic development firm, for the last 13 years, going on 13 years, we've been helping major corporations, small businesses, government entities, faith-based, nonprofit, entertainment, as well as education in the areas of marketing, branding, and strategic development. I'm inviting you to visit our website. You'll see it on the screen. KDRconsults.com for your services, for your needs, for your insight, for your information in those areas of specialization. Please come to our website, our online home, and let us know how we can help you. Also, you'll be able to recognize that we've been doing giveaways, and thank you for so many of you who've been emailing us with the keyword that you see on the bottom of the screen. Every week, we have a keyword. If you take that keyword and email us at corporateinfo@KDR Consults, we randomly pick an individual and you get a one-on-one consultation with me in the area of specialization that we discussed on that particular session. So make sure you get the keyword. When you get off, email it, get into the random drawing, and you will possibly be selected. On top of that, I have a few people that I want you to follow because they are doing areas of specialty and they are good at what they do. And I want to recommend them. Number one, Stephen J. Thurston. Stephen J. Thurston is my friend and brother. You'll be able to follow him. He has a new book coming out called Mirror Moments. I suggest that you follow him, that you get feedback from him, that you listen to him, and make sure that you order a copy of his book. Number 2, Christian Smith. I'm suggesting that from a corporate image standpoint, for a brand image standpoint that deals with how you look on the outside and often how you operate on the inside, you want to follow him. Number 3, I want you to follow Carrie Turner, all women. I want you following Carrie Turner. And number 4, Mark Moore. He's a visionary. He's an organizational leader from a conference standpoint. 4 people that you need to follow. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I want to make sure that you understand that we're rolling these sessions like seasons. We'll only have 8 different sessions within this season. We are on number 6. You got 2 more to go. So if you haven't watched the previous sessions, please go back on YouTube. Please go back to a friend. Please go back and watch and catch up so that it can impact your business and your organization right away. Today, talking about a topic that is going to be beneficial to us all. It's called dealing with professional conflict. Dealing with professional conflict. I think it's indicative of many of us that we automatically assume that conflict is bad. I'm going to say that again. It is indicative of many of us to believe that conflict is bad. But professional conflict has a purpose and often a positive benefit. And if you have conflict in your business, if you have conflict in your organization and you don't know how to deal with it, it's causing your business to be stagnant. You're finding that meetings are going from 20 minutes to 2 hours. Does that sound like anybody that's watching? You're in a position where every time you get to a major decision, there's so much conflict that when the meeting is over, you're trying to figure out, what were we meeting about in the first place? Well, if that's you, let me see some hearts. Let me see some thumbs up and make comments. If you got any comments, if you have any questions, put your comments and questions in the comment section. I want to help you understand how to deal with professional conflict. There are a few things that you need to know. If you got your pens, if you got your notes out, let's get ready to go. First thing I want you to understand about professional conflict is that it's necessary. Newsflash, professional conflict is necessary. If you're not having some conflict in your organization, if you don't have some conflict on your team, you're not growing. I'm going to say that again. If you don't have some conflict in your organization, some conflict in your team, you're not growing. Why is this a reality? Well, conflict allows people to be their true selves, to be honest about what they agree with and what they don't agree with. Sometimes you're going to have people on your team that they create tension and conflict as a part of their personality. It's not that they don't like you. It's not that they're trying to be condescending. It's not that they're trying to shoot down your idea, but their personality allows you to receive insight and feedback, consideration and thoughts that maybe would not be considered without them. Conflict forces you sometimes to be in a position to grow, develop, and hash out the issues. This is necessary because if everybody on your team agrees with every idea you come up with, they are either lying to you or you are a horrible leader. I know it's some thumbs up right now. They are either lying to you or you're a horrible leader because nobody is going to agree with everything that you say. Nobody is going to see this process as the best idea. Recognize that some of us are vision casters. Other of us are vision carriers. So conflict puts us in a place where it's necessary. Second thing you need to understand about professional conflict, it creates growth. It creates growth. What do you mean? It was very interesting to me that just a few months ago, within my own team, my own staff, we had some conflict. I have one particular staff member that he's been with me for a while. And the truth about it is I'm biased to him. I'm biased to him to a reality that he's gone through the difficult times. He's gone through the ups and downs. He's gone through the ins and outs. But as our team has grown, as our team has developed, this is not always a good thing for other team members. So what happens is, as a leader, we had conflict and they brought the information to me. I have people on my team who were able to deal with the conflict, get me the right feedback, and then allow me to make the adjustments as how we should move forward. Understand, if this conflict didn't happen, it would be a sign that we weren't growing. There were certain things that I did not have written down. There were certain things that were not crystal clear. There were certain things that were unwritten that needed to be written. Growth is a result of oftentimes running into conflict, because as you're growing, you're going through pains, you're going through ins and outs, you're going through difficulty. Conflict will help you grow. Again, conflict will help you grow. Nobody that does mountain climbing, nobody that has ever heard of a mountain, nobody that has ever thought positively or negatively about a mountain has ever in your life seen a smooth mountain. Why is that? Because they don't exist. What makes the mountain climbing experience intriguing and engaging and fulfilling is because it's difficult. And as you start moving up, you start seeing the growth from where you started to where you're headed. See conflict the same way. The difficulties, the challenges, and the ups and downs put you in a position where you're growing a little larger, a little taller, a little farther than you were when you began. Hopefully this is making some sense to you, because there are those of you who are watching me right now who've made conflict a negative. And sometimes the negative is what produces the growth. Sometimes the negative is what produces the results. You need it because you're growing. If this is making sense to anybody, give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts. Hit the share button. Tag at least 5 people and let that name, that person, that individual, that organization know that you're in the midst of Momentum Motivation Mondays with the Kingmaker. Share this message. So, how to deal with personal conflict. You've recognized that it's necessary. Secondly, it creates growth. Thirdly, it requires elevation. It requires elevation. Whenever there is conflict, elevation is required. Going back to our situation internally in my organization and my business, what you start to recognize is that you're elevating. Some of the things that the conflict has brought to your attention forces you to elevate your game. Again, some of the things that conflict has brought to your attention is forcing you to elevate your game. I could not blame my staff for outlining something that I had ignored. It worked for me during a particular period of time. But from where they brought the idea and the concept, the issue to my attention, for us to be elevated where we were going, it required me to look internally and ask the question, do I want to stay where we are, or do I take the feedback and make the changes to elevate us to the next level? And many of us see conflict as an insult as opposed to an opportunity for elevation. You've got to now see the conflict, see where the conflict was created, and then remove things that minimize conflict in the future. Why? Because many of our organizations are not growing, because when the elevation is permanent, it is right there on the cusp of us being able to elevate. We've looked at the conflict and now given a negative response to it. We don't make any changes. We continue to hold the dead weight. We continue to do stuff the same way. And you cannot go higher with weight that's holding you down. This conflict often allows you to see where the dead weight is and remove it, to see where the dead places are and remove it. And when you start removing dead weight, elevation occurs. You go higher when you remove unnecessary weight. Conflict in the professional environment helps to allow us to do that. Does that make sense to anybody? I see you. I recognize that it's starting to click. The light bulb is coming on. Professional conflict is necessary. Professional conflict creates growth. It requires elevation. Fourthly, it demands humility. It's going to be a tough one. It demands humility. I'm talking to leaders, to CEOs, to presidents, to pastors, to visionaries. Let me help you know that if you have conflict and the conflict has pointed the fingers back to you, do not take this personal. Find a moment of humility and make the adjustments. This is why we find conflict often not being positive, because when a conflict is presented to a person who is in a position of power and authority, they become offensive as opposed to being able to find humility. As long as you can find humility, see what you've done wrong, hear both sides of the fence, and then turn around and make adjustments that both grow the business, create harmony, and allow us to be elevated, success has been received and achieved through the conflict. But if every time conflict happens, you become frustrated and upset as opposed to becoming humble and receiving a level of humility, this conflict has not worked in your response and in your favor. This is necessary, people. Conflict is going to happen. You cannot get away from it. You cannot get around it. And if you are leading and don't like conflict, you don't like growth. If you are leading and don't like conflict, you don't like success. If you are leading and don't like conflict, you don't need to be leading. Somebody put that in the hashtag. I don't need to lead. Because if you can't find humility, you are never going to be successful in this space. Now that we got that out of the way, 2 more and I'm done. Well, only 1 more. I'm going to give you a bonus within this. The final one here. Why is it that dealing with professional conflict has positives, even in the negatives? Why is it that dealing with professional conflict is good? This is the final one in these points. It uncovers leaders. It uncovers leaders. When there is conflict, often people who have been silent get a voice. I'm going to give you a minute to digest that. When conflict arises, what it has done is it often gives people who have been silent a voice. I was doing a leadership session at a municipality, and we were doing an exercise about conflict resolution. And one of the most silent voices in the room was never given an opportunity to contribute to the resolution moment. And I watched him as I stood back. He looked at everybody. He was on the wall with a camera lens view. And when they had gone through all of the moments of trying to combat and trying to plan and trying to argue and trying to go back and forth, they left the silent voice out. And when this session was over, I asked the silent voice to give feedback because we had still not come to the resolution of the goal. And it was amazing to me that the silent voice had listened to every perspective, had found every in and out, had looked at every pro and con, and had come up with the best resolution for the team. The CEO of the organization was in shock because he thought that his silence meant that he wasn't paying attention. And the truth of it is, when a conflict arose, he found a leader sitting right there because the conflict created a voice. And many of you have people that are silent because you don't have any conflicts. You don't have any circumstances that allow people to look at it from their perspective. You haven't taken into consideration personalities. You haven't taken into consideration different mindsets and different viewpoints. Understand that because people are silent does not mean that people are not paying attention. But often a conflict will uncover the voice of leaders that have been silent in the past. And if you don't have some conflict, you're probably overlooking leaders that will change your organization at the blink of an eye. And that professional conflict allows you to see who your true leaders are. The bonus here is recognize that without conflict, hear me, without conflict, there will be no resolutions. Without conflict, there will be no resolutions. Remember, I told you, if you don't see some conflict in the process of your planning, you're probably planning to fail. You need people who will tell you, I don't think we should do it that way. I think we got a different point of view. I think we should consider this. If you have people on your team who should be creating conflict and they're silent, resolution is not happening. If you have people who speak regularly and now they're silent, resolution is not happening. If you don't see the conflict, you don't see the resolution. Change your lens on conflict and watch your professional organization, entity, and vision take off. As always, I'm hoping that this message has been impactful to you in the marketplace. Share this message over and over. Do your watch parties. When you watch this in replay on your different platforms, share it with somebody else because we are here to help you grow in the marketplace. As always, it's your main man, the Kingmaker. Today is your moment of success. I want you to wake up the king in you. I want you to wake up the queen in you. Each one of you have seeds of purpose, greatness, and success buried on the inside of you. You just don't recognize when properly cultivated, nurtured, and fertilized. Those seeds turn into mighty oak trees. They turn into mighty pine trees that provide shade for others, provide nourishment for others, provide resources for others. Remember, if it's not what God has given you is not helping others, it's not helping you. If nobody's told you today, let me be the first to tell you that I love you and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Do me a favor and go follow me on every platform at I am Kervance Ross. Every platform, type in I am Kervance Ross and follow me there. If you're not following me on YouTube, do it right now. Go to YouTube and follow my YouTube channel. You'll be blessed. You'll be made better. You'll be developed in a way that you have no idea. And on top of that, follow our company, KDR Consults. KDR Consulting is the company. The website is kdrconsults.com. On every platform, just type in at KDR Consulting. We'll be right there. And for those of you who got the keyword, email us at corporateinfo@kdrconsults.com. Put the keyword in the subject line and we'll choose you for a one-on-one consultation with the Kingmaker. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share the message, and I'll see you next week on Momentum Motivation Mondays. Thank you.